It is very important that the brain and the spinal cord are protected from damage, because when we jump up and down, we don't want the brain to hit on the internal surface of the skull. This protection is achieved through the meninges that surround the central nervous system. Let's discuss the three layers of the meninges. Well, here is the skull, which is obviously strong in order to protect the brain. It is well designed to resist impact that will otherwise cause severe damage to the brain. And on the external surface of the skull, we have subcutaneous tissue and the skin itself. And if you are fortunate, you have some hair as well. All of these help in aiding protection of the skull. The subcutaneous tissue is thick enough to provide a fair degree of protection. Immediately under the bone of the skull is a thick layer of fibrous tissue called the Dura, which is a bilayer. The outer layer is firmly attached to the bones of the skull, and it is called preosteal layer. And the inner is the meningeal layer of the Dura. Meta is Latin for mother. Anyway, that is the Dura. Further down here, we have the brain itself. And the brain rises in gyri and sinks in sulci. The gyri are like hills, and the sulci are like valleys. And this is designed to increase surface area of the cerebral cortex. The cerebral cortex is the outer layer of the cerebrum, packed with millions of nerve cell bodies. Lining the surface of the cerebral cortex and going down the sulci and up the gyri is a thin layer lining the surface known as the Pia. Immediately under the Dura is another layer, three-dimensional layer with finger-like projections that go down from the main part of this layer down onto the surface of the Pia. And this layer is called the arachnoid layer. Arachnoid means to do with spiders. If you look at this structure, it looks like a spider's web, because it has got all these protections from the arachnoid onto the Pia. We have seen that there is a space below this layer, that is between the arachnoid and the Pia, called the subarachnoid space. Because it is below the arachnoid, it is termed as subarachnoid space. This space is filled with cerebrospinal fluid. In this way, the cerebrospinal fluid completely surrounds the brain and indeed the spinal cord. So when we jump up and down, your brain is actually floating in cerebrospinal fluid, and that means it is suspended in this amazing kind of 360-degree shock-absorbing layer, the cerebrospinal fluid. Collectively, the three layers, that is, the Pia, the arachnoid, and the Dura, are described as the meninges, the meningeal layer. And of course, if they get infected, there is meningitis, which is a very serious condition. So in order to remember the three layers, the meninges is said to pad the brain. P for the Pia, A for arachnoid, and D for the Dura.